How's it going, fellow traders? Magic Trader here, and this is the CFTC report for the data that was collected on February 25th, 2020. Here is a snapshot of the positions held by the institutions as of that date. And so let's start by taking a look at gold. Alright, so what do we have here with gold? Now, we had price down here, it took out an opposing zone and it rallied up strong, and as price was rallying up strong, they closed off a big portion of those long positions that they had added previously. If you look back on February 11th, the data showed that long positions were at 356,000, and then the following week we had a big increase to 408, and then right after that, profit taking on those long positions. Now remember, 408,000 was a record all-time high in long positions held by the institutions. So that is very significant, and also it was a record high number in total size, 463,000. So we see that it has since dropped, and so you also take a look at short positions, and one thing you'll notice if you take a look at the short positions is they haven't been doing much for the last few weeks. Okay, so they're not focusing on short positions as of yet, and we know this, and we were expecting this, because when they're so aggressively long, they're not focusing on short positions. What they will focus on is taking profits on those long positions, and once they've taken off a significant amount of those long positions, then they will begin to focus on their short positions. But we have supply still holding, big drop in price, likely going to be from profit taking on long positions, even more so than what we've seen here, and we'll see that on next week's data. Alright, so now we take a look at oil, and we see that price was consolidating here before it drove even lower. And what did the institutions do? They closed off some of their longs from 571,000 down to 528,000, and then they decreased shorts. Now, I went into detail on the latest EURUSD report why they do that, and so you will want to take a look at that EURUSD report, because it's got some really important information as to why the institutions do that with their positions. Now we'll take a look at the dollar, and we see that the dollar broke through some supply. It peaked, and then as it was consolidating before the drop, they closed off some of their longs and they closed off some of their shorts. So they're not revealing too much right now in terms of their positions. They were somewhat aggressive with long positions over the last 3 weeks, which is why we saw the big increase, but now we see price is dropping back down. So in terms of positions, we're not seeing anything strong as of yet. Now we go over to the Aussie US dollar, and we see that as price was dropping here, they increased their short positions quite significantly. If you take a look back and look at all the data here, you'll see at no time since last summer did they ever have short positions so aggressive. So they are at 100,000, which is really aggressive, but all-time highs are 111. So they're just shy of all-time highs, but still something to take note of, especially when price is hitting some demand here. Okay, now let's take a look at the US CAD, and we see that price was consolidating before it rallied up and took out some supply, and so as it was consolidating, we see that they closed off some of their long positions, reducing them from 53,000 down to 49,000, and then they increased their short positions from 61,000 to 63,000. So what's going on here? Well, the chart is very messy. We've detailed this in the observation journal that basic members and students have access to, in terms of positions, they're not really showing any clear direction. Yes, they've had a bearish bias for quite some time. It's becoming less so, and then they popped it back up to -14. But in terms of positions, we're not seeing anything very aggressive. US Swiss franc price was consolidating before the drop, just like with the dollar, and we see an increase in longs and an increase in shorts. Again, not much to see here. Yes, short positions are slightly aggressive, but take a look at the coloration of the cells here. Neutral. Okay, very telling. Now we have the euro. price was consolidating before the rally up. As that took place, they closed off longs, reducing them from 170 to 157,000, and then they increased shorts from 262 to 271. Now take a look. 271,000 short positions is an all-time high number for short positions. All right. With demand in play, there opens up the floodgate for a push to the upside. Now we got the pound dollar, and price was consolidating before it dropped. And they pretty much did nothing with the shorts and long positions, so not much to see in terms of positions here on the pound. US dollar Japanese yen price rallied up before the big turnaround and pushed to the downside, and as it was rallying up, a big increase in longs from 85 to 110,000, and they decreased shorts from 58 to 53,000. So again, a slight bullish bias here. We see net positions up to plus 56,000, which is decent, but no strong signs of any accumulation of positions here. Then we have the Kiwi dollar. As price was dropping here, we see that they increased their longs slightly from 17 to 18,000, but the bigger increase was in shorts, 29 to 34,000. Okay, we just came out of a slight bullish net position. Now we're increasing to the short side, but that's the reason why price is dropping. We look at the coloration, slight bearish bias, but we just came from neutral. So if you take a look at all the majors, you'll see that what we're seeing here is that there's no strong signs of any accumulation of positions. Okay, we have gold, they're ready to take profits on longs, and we see all these other pairs with a lot of extremes. Okay, some extremes and then others just neutral biases. So this is not really a good market to be trading right now because anything can really take place. All right, so take note of that, remember that, and let's stay patient and wait for the opportunities to come because they will eventually come. All right, so that's your Forex, the CFTC data for February 25th, 2020. If you have any questions, you can reach us at www.whiteoakfx.com. Thanks. Have a great week. Bye.